In this video, we're going to begin to introduce operations, and the first operation we're going to look at is addition. So first, operations mean that we're taking two or more quantities and we're performing some operation on them. So the ones we're going to look at in this media lesson are addition, subtraction, multiplication, and division. And we're going to start with addition. So what is addition? So you're probably going to find these two problems very simple, but I want you to pay attention because I want you to think of the two ideas or two ways we can think of addition that are going to apply to any addition problem that we'd like. So let's look at the first one. Glenn is at school 2 miles from his house. He then walks 3 miles to a store in the opposite direction of his house. So that's the information we're given, and typically we will highlight given information in a word problem in one color, and then in another color we're going to highlight our goal. So here's our goal. How far is his house from the store? So this is going to be an important idea I want you to practice as you're working on any word problem, because you're always given information that you need to use to reach some goal. And you want to know what your goal is because it's a lot easier to reach your goal when you know what exactly it is you're trying to find. Okay. Now again, you probably know this is 5. You probably thought of this, 2 miles, 3 miles, add them together, it's 5. But let's see what this has to do with addition. So we'll say this is his starting point, his house, or this is actually, we should say, the reference point, and it says he starts 2 miles from his house. So we're going to say that this is 2 miles, okay, and this is where he's starting, and then he walks 3 miles to a store in the opposite direction of his house. So he goes another, that looks like it's about 3 miles relative to that. And this is his ending point. And we want to find this total distance. Okay, so we want to combine 2 miles and 3 miles, which we'd write as 2 plus 3. And if you add 2 plus 3, you get 5. Okay. And notice this is combining the 2 miles and the 3 miles, but we can also think of it as, let me use a different color. Here is 0, that's his distance from his house when he's at his house. This is 1 mile, this is 2 miles. Now in here, this would be 3, 4, and the end is 5 miles on the number line. So we can also think of this as adding on from an original quantity. So we're starting at 2. Okay, so 2 is like the starting point relative to his house, and then we add on 3. 2 plus 3 is 5. So we can think of this as adding on from another number. And this is one of the ways we typically use the operation of addition. Now let's look at the other way. Sharon bought 3 apples and 4 bananas. So that's given information. And now also I see the question is coming up, so I'm ready to change my highlighter. But notice the reason I know, just like in this one, is usually the question or the final statement. It's usually a question. It doesn't have to be. But when I saw the word how many, I knew that the question or my goal was coming up. So how many pieces of fruit did she buy altogether? Again, it doesn't have to be a question. Sometimes we'll say things like determine the number of pieces of fruit she has. That wouldn't be a question, but that's another word that we frequently use to indicate our goal. Okay, so we can think of this. I'm going to do an awful drawing job, but we have 3 apples. Okay, those look like bombs, but they're supposed to be apples. They're red, so you know what I mean. Okay, and we have 4 bananas. Okay, so at first we're thinking of these as 2 different groups of things, a group of apples, a group of bananas. But now we want to know how many pieces of fruit. These both fall in that category, so we're combining them into the bigger set of things that are fruit and seeing how many they are together. So now it doesn't matter if you're an apple or a banana, you're a fruit. And we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So 3 plus 4 equals 7. And again, this is combining. Okay. So to sum up, these are our two main ways we use addition. We add one quantity on from another quantity, or we take two quantities and we combine them into a new group.